Have you ever felt like you're just spinning your wheels trying to learn a new language? You're memorizing all these words, but you're not actually getting any closer to really speaking it? Well, what if I told you there's a faster, way more effective way to do it, and it's all backed by some pretty solid science? Okay, let's jump in and build a playbook to totally master language learning.
So, let me ask you something. Let's do a quick gut check. If someone walked up to you right now and asked this question in your target language, could you answer it? And I mean really answer it, with details. If that feels a little tough, you are definitely not alone. So many of us get stuck right here, and it's because the old school ways teach us a vocabulary, but not our vocabulary. We're going to fix that starting right now.
All right, first things first, let's get into the why. Before we even touch on the specific techniques, we got to understand what's actually happening up here. Because learning another language, it isn't just a cool party trick. It's like a fundamental software upgrade for your brain.
Seriously, think about it like this. Every single time you switch between languages, or even just think in another language, you're doing a rep at the mental gym. It is one of the most intense and one of the most beneficial workouts you could possibly give your mind. And the payoffs are just incredible. This constant mental workout strengthens what scientists call your executive function, which is basically the CEO of your brain. It's the command center. This boosts your problem-solving skills, it makes you way more mentally flexible, and it literally helps your brain build new connections, new pathways. And get this, it can even create what's called a cognitive reserve, which helps protect your mind from decline as you get older. It's a genuine superpower.
So, now that we're all fired up about our new brain superpowers, let's turn to the hard evidence. Let's forget all the marketing claims and what your cousin's friends said worked for them. What does massive, large-scale research tell us are the absolute most effective ways to learn a language? And listen, the stuff we're about to look at isn't based on some tiny study with 20 people in a classroom. Oh no. This comes from a massive meta-analysis of other meta-analyses, covering almost 700,000 students. This is about as close to a final, definitive answer as science can get.
So what's the big takeaway? Well, the key thing to realize is that there's no single best method for everything. You have to use the right tool for the job, and the data is crystal clear. To get better at speaking, it's all about using conscious strategies, things like rehearsing what you're going to say, or just focusing on getting your message across, even if you make mistakes. For vocabulary, technology is your best friend. We're talking digital flashcards, learning apps, you name it. To really nail down grammar, nothing beats good old-fashioned explicit instruction, someone just clearly explaining the rules. And for listening skills, the sheer convenience of mobile-based learning on your phone gives it the winning edge. You have to match the method to the skill you're trying to build. But as I was digging through all this data, there was one finding, one specific technique for learning grammar that was so effective it just blew everything else completely out of the water. I was genuinely shocked when I saw these numbers. And here it is. This chart shows something called effect size, which is just how scientists measure how well a teaching method works. To put it in perspective, an effect size of 0.5 is pretty good. 0.8 is great. The average grammar method, it clocks in at a decent 0.59. But this other technique called processing instruction has an effect size of 2.33. That is absolutely completely off the charts. So what on earth is it? Well, instead of forcing you to produce the grammar rule yourself, it makes you process it from meaning first. It's usually through exercises where you listen or read and have to pick the right interpretation. It totally rewires how your brain connects a rule to its actual meaning, and, well, the results speak for themselves.
Okay, we've got the why from the brain science, we've got the what from the hard data. Now, let's build your personal playbook. This is the how. These are the powerful techniques you can start using, like today.
This first method is hands down my absolute favorite. It's called story speaking, and it directly tackles that problem we talked about right at the beginning. Learning words that are actually relevant to you and your life, not some random list from a textbook.
So here's how you do it. First, just pick a story from your life, anything, and record yourself trying to tell it. It's going to feel weird, maybe a little awkward, but trust me, just push through it. Then you're going to transcribe exactly what you said, mistakes and all. The next step is where the magic happens. You write down what you meant to say, what you were trying to say, and then get the correct translation. And finally, you take that perfect corrected version and you memorize it. You learn it inside and out. Over time, you build this library of your own stories that you can tell perfectly.
Now, just learning the words isn't quite enough, right? If you're not constantly seeing them, hearing them, and using them, they're going to fade away. So, how do you reinforce all that learning when you're not actively sitting down to study? Simple. You create your own immersion bubble. And no, you do not need to move to another country to do this. Change the language on your phone, right now. Follow native speakers and, yeah, even meme accounts on social media. Find music you actually love and learn the lyrics. Try journaling just 2 or 3 sentences every day. And of course, get totally hooked on a TV show in their target language. These are small changes that create this constant low-effort exposure that works wonders.
So what's the secret sauce that powers all of these practice methods? It all comes down to a core principle from cognitive science called active recall. This has nothing to do with passively reading a list over and over again. It's the exact opposite. It's about forcing your brain to pull that information out of your memory.
This right here is the whole game. Researchers have a name for it. They call it the testing effect. Every single time you test yourself and successfully pull a word or a phrase from your memory, you're not just remembering it, you're physically strengthening the neural connections that lead to that memory. You're making that path stronger and faster for the next time you need it. All right, our final technique is a bit more advanced, I'll admit, but it is incredibly powerful. It's called shadowing, and it was developed by this guy who has studied over 50 languages. So, yeah, he knows what he's talking about. The idea is simple on the surface. You listen to native speech, and you repeat it out loud as fast as you can, in real time. No pausing. You're like a shadow.
Now, it's a progressive exercise, so you build up. You start by just mimicking the sounds, not even worrying about what they mean. Then, you add a transcript in your own language to connect those sounds to meaning. After that, you slowly transition to reading the transcript in the target language. And then, you drop the training wheels and just use the target language transcript. The final step? You remove the audio completely and recite it from memory. This trains both your mouth and your brain to process the language at native speaker speed.
Okay, so let's pull all these threads together. This isn't just a random collection of tips and tricks. It's a complete system. It's designed to take you all the way from understanding the fundamentals to advanced real-world practice. Think about it. You now have the why, the incredible brain benefits that make this whole journey so worthwhile. You have the what, the hard scientific evidence telling you exactly what practices are most effective for each skill. And you have the how, a powerful playbook with techniques like story speaking and shadowing that you can start using immediately. This isn't about just memorizing words anymore. It's about building the real ability to share your life, your thoughts, your entire personality in a whole new language. You have the science, you have the playbook. The only question left is, what story from your life are you going to tell first?